Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our Chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn now to poem 401, What Soft Cherubic Creatures. Now, this is a fan favorite of a certain kind of reader of Emily's stuff because of how nasty Emily can actually get. It has always been a part of biographies and speculations. To what degree was Emily an elitist? To what degree was Emily not a part of the upper class upbringing that she was given? And in this poem, we're going to get some very interesting language tonally as she comes after the genteel women of her day. In some ways, we're back to poem 278, and we'll be talking again about the cloth that we saw there. I think that she's actually addressing the Mark 8:38 passage that she knew well. Christ, you'll remember, says in Mark 8:38, quote, "If anyone is ashamed of me and mine in this wicked and godless age, the Son of Man will be ashamed of him when he comes in the glory of his Father and of the holy angels." And we're going to see this referencing to angels right away. Our assumption is that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. And I'm hopeful you worked through our set of introductory comments as well as the preceding 400 poems. And if you have, you can place this poem. We've seen Emily's harsh tone before. We just finished with poem 400, A Tongue to Tell Him I Am True. Now, there is a whole lot of different ways to read this poem, but it's fairly clear that Emily is jabbing at gentility. There is a tone of mockery. Some have seen even scorn or even disdain. Now, to be fair, Emily grew up around these upper class folks, especially these women. But it's clear that she kind of struggled with it. There's also some strong, potentially sexual language in this poem as well, sexual and violent. Now, some scholars have pointed out that this is Emily's critique of the quote-unquote self-righteous sewing circle of Amherst, end quote, who are soft in body but brittle in soul. Let's hear her saying it. What soft cherubic creatures these gentle women are. One would as soon assault a plush or violate a star. Such dimity convictions, a horror so refined of freckled human nature, of deity ashamed. It's such a common glory, a fisherman's degree, redemption. Brittle lady, be so ashamed of thee. It is unusual that this poem does not end with an exclamation point. It is unusual that you would expect that Emily, to make her point, is going to say, gotcha, or told you so. Notice she'll begin with a rhetorical question. Who are these women? And of course, Emily grew up around these women of Amherst. Well, she defines them as what? First of all, they're soft. Cherubic will take us only to poem 828, the only other time it's used. And of course, cherubs or angels are known for their asexuality, right? Notice she'll call them creatures. She won't even call them really people until the second line. These gentle women are. We're going to hear common here at the third stanza. In other words, there's going to be a juxtaposition. Jesus Christ surrounded himself with fishermen, common people. And yet she's going to point out these women who I'm looking at here in Amherst, they got no interest. They would be ashamed, in fact, if they were close to Christ and his fishermen followers. What soft cherubic creatures these gentle women are. One would as soon assault a plush or violate a star. Assault and violate can easily be read as sexual language, even language nearing rape. And in that regards, what does she say? Nobody would want to have any kind of relationship sexually with these women. Ouch. Then she'll use, going back to poem 278, and the way in which she uses cloth and different kinds of cloth as having significance. You can go back and study our lecture there at 278. Such dimity convictions, dimity here is that, decorative cotton cloth, right? Such dimity convictions, a horror so refined. Now, is Emily overstating it with the word horror? It's hard to know. I mean, this is one of the things we would love to have a conversation. We would ask her, okay, 401. Were you serious about this? Or were you just having a bit of fun poking at these gentle women who were somehow superior to the people that they normally might kind of rub shoulders against, but not really want to rub shoulders against? A horror so refined, and I think the key word here is from gentle women to refined, of freckled human nature. You'll remember freckled from 225 and 275. Freckled human nature of deity ashamed. Now, of course, ashamed will get used at the very end. In other words, she says, these women claim that they are followers of Christ, and yet in the end they are really ashamed of a whole lot of the story of Christ, especially as it relates to what? It's such a common glory. And again, the word common as juxtaposed from gentle women, a fisherman's degree. Here, of course, she's talking about St. Peter, the keys to the kingdom, and all of that. Redemption, and then she'll say, brittle lady. So we go from soft to brittle. Be so ashamed of thee, right? In other words, she seems to be suggesting, may you be among the damned at the last day, because you were ashamed of the common glory, as opposed to the elitist perspective from these gentle women. Ouch. Well, at 2a, I think the argument she's making is that these women are in fact bad angels. They are not really, truly worshipers and followers of Christ, which is interesting because we're speaking about Emily, who herself never was able to enjoy a conversion experience, as it's sometimes referenced. At 2b, well, there is a tone. I'm going to let you decide. Is it disdain? Is it mockery? Is it irony? What is it for you? At 3a, there are a number of harsh passages in the New Testament that Emily could be referencing. Matthew 23 comes to mind, where Christ will speak of a certain religious sect, the Pharisees, as being like graves where dead men's bones are. On the outside looking beautiful, but inside nasty. Finally, at 3b, when was a time that you shared with Emily a disdain for fakers, for those who say they're one thing, but in fact they actually aren't? I hope Emily's challenging you. Thank you.